Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all participants of this webinar. I am Hasbullah Hassan, your moderator for this morning's session. Welcome to the Sustainability Talk Series number 5, organized by the Sustainability Unit of Malaysia Productivity Corporation. For information, the Sustainability Unit was established in January this year, and its core functions are, among others, to carry out secondary research on Malaysia's circular economy, or it's known as CE, so as to help industries increase their productivity. Second, to create awareness and provide an understanding on the concept of circular economy. Third, to promote the concept of circular economy through strategic cooperation with the public and private organizations, academia and business associations. Number 4, to lead in the establishment of a sustainable circular economy ecosystem in order to increase the productivity of businesses. And the last one, to carry out benchmarking and knowledge sharing on CE locally as well as overseas. The title for our webinar this morning is Moving Towards a Circular Economy. Are Malaysian Business Ready? So that is our title for today. This morning, we are very fortunate to have with us a very distinguished speaker and an expert in the subject, Yang Berbahagia Dr. Kamarul Azizi bin Ibrahim. Welcome, Dr. Kamarul, to our webinar session. Before we start, let me give a brief introduction about Dr. Kamarul. I will try to be as brief as possible, and I have to skip some from his outstanding CV. Dr. Kamarul has been in the academic world since 1984. He retired in 2017 from University of Science Malaysia, for which he was a senior professor since January 2000. He specializes in semiconductor material and device technology, energy, nanotechnology, and sustainable development science. He has graduated 40 PhD students and 30 MSc students. He has published 30 books and 400 articles in journals. Dr. Kamarul is also a founding member, founding director of 2 research institutions. That is Center for Education, Training and Research in Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, or CITRI, and Institute of Nano Optoelectronics Research and Technology, INO, in 2015. He was also the director of the Center for Global Sustainability Studies, CGSS, from 2013 to 2017. Dr. Kamarul was selected by the EPU, or the Economic Planning Unit of Malaysia, to be a resource person for project cycle management using logical framework analysis, or LFA, conducted by the World Bank. LFA, for your information, is a stakeholders root analysis to determine suitability and viability of a project. He has conducted more than 80 LFA workshops locally and internationally. 3 of the most notable projects are for the development of Haji activities, Mecca Smart City, and transformation of USM into an accelerated program for excellence, APEX University. He played an important role in developing the 5th fuel policy for Malaysia, that is placing solar and biomass as an energy option, and introducing the feed-in tariff, or FIT, for encouraging usage of solar and biomass in electrical generation mix other than oil, gas, coal, and hydroelectric. Dr. Kamarul is also a founding committee member for the creation of Institute Energy Malaysia, INTAM, which gather energy professionals and researchers. He was instrumental in the development of high technology, beginning with silicon research and technology, followed by nano optoelectronics research and technology, NOR. When NOR was upgraded to an institute, INO, he became the first director. NOR has produced 6 professors, graduated 100 PhD students, and produced 200 referred papers per year. He initiated a world-class research in development of blue and ultraviolet light source with 2014 Nobel Prize winner, Professor S. Nakamura of University of California, Santa Barbara, and Malaysia's light emitting devices industries with a target of 250 lumens per watt by 2020. As the director of CGSS, he prepared USM's sustainable policy as a guide to implementation of sustainable development in the running of USM and introduced a method to determine level of sustainability based on reports produced. He has proposed issues to be considered towards the Sustainable Development Goal, or SDG, of the United Nations, which will guide development of all countries to take into consideration the economic, social, and environment in their development. Before we start, for information, that is about Dr. Kamaru. Of course, I've got a longer list of things which I'm unable to share with you. But before we start, there will be a question posted by our organizer, MPC, and I hope all of you will answer it, and I will share the results before we proceed. Yeah. So let us pause for a moment, wait for the question. Please answer the question, and before we start, we'll post the results, and later on, we are going to invite Dr. Kamaru to address the session. Okay. Okay, here is the result. The question is actually, how is your knowledge? How is your knowledge and understanding on circular economy? That's the question. And from the polls, or at the moment we have, poll closed, 69% voted. Okay. And from the 69%, we have the answer on excellent is 13%. Excellent understanding on CE is 13%. 57% moderate, and 30% low. I guess that's going to be a very important information for Dr. Kamaru before he starts the session. Yeah. Okay. So now, since all the administrative matters have been dealt with, I would like to call upon Dr. Kamarul Ibrahim, the CEO of Global Universal Integrated, or GUIDE, to make his presentation and address the session. Silakan, Dok.
Okay, thank you, Tuan Haji Hasbullah, for giving a very flowery introduction. It is not me alone. It is a teamwork because there are many things that we have to work together, and I find that when we work together, everything becomes easy, and that's what happened actually. And I'd like to thank MPC for inviting me to give this presentation. Even though it is a bit worrying when there is also a question mark. That means I have to give a view, my own view, and it is very hard to give a view when you are an academician, because an academician view usually they say it too theoretical rather than practical. But business is something very practical, and that's what I learned while I was after retirement. After 3 years of retirement, I observed that business are not the same as in the academic world. The academic world is very easy actually. And thank you for all the participants for attending this talk. I like to make it as a sharing rather than a lecture. But please forgive me if sometimes it looks like I'm giving lecture, because I work in USM for almost 40 years. And as you know, behaviors cannot be changed that easily, especially at this age. You're getting old and you tend to be a bit become tabiat, they said. Okay, thank you again. The talk that I'm going to give is moving towards a secular economy. Are we Malaysian business ready or not with that? Okay, let me see. First, to be on the right track, what is secular economy in a nutshell? As you can see, there's a nut there. It might be a flower coming out, a beautiful butterfly, or it might be something that when you open, you cannot see that much anything. So, an economic system aimed at eliminating waste and continual use of resources. So, it is a very unique economic system. Here, you have to really concentrate here. For those that have excellent knowledge, it's okay. Just assume this as a revision. But for those who are still new in this, just remember, it is aimed at eliminating waste and continual use of resources. That means whatever product that we produce from our resources, we will ensure that the product lifetime will be almost forever. I'm going to say almost. I'm going to put that statement because you find that it cannot. Somehow or the other, inherent, the material itself cannot be continually used. But then let's make it like me, an academician. Let's say it can work. So that be much easier for us to discuss forward. Okay. So and number two, people always confuse. Always confuse, yes, secular economy with reuse economy. It is not the same actually. Reuse is only partial of the circular economy. You talk about reuse of the material. If we in Malaysia, when we talk about reuse, we remember our friends that are taking care of when our bicycle are already kaput, we throw it away and somebody will pick it up and use it, the metal rod and everything. That is reuse. But circular economy is not that alone. It is only 1/8 of it. I will tell later what are the other 8 different things that we can do under circular economy. Okay. So basically the idea is to reduce the resources use, and then the waste and the leakages are created. The waste and leakages created due to the use of the resources, we conserve it and we help it to reduce environmental pollution, if you want to put it in a more beautiful jargon. So but the number one, if somebody use that is already enough. An economic system it at eliminating waste and continual uses of resources. That will cover the definition by itself. Okay, so let's see next. So why is it so important for businesses in Malaysia? Because sometimes we need to know why. Because if not, we have no reason at all to do anything. In this world, if you don't know why you want to do something, then there is no impulse for you to do it. So let me put something here. I don't know whether everyone will be agreeing or not to the why, but academically it sounds good to me. Okay, and as I go into business, I found that these are good also to me. Number one is we found that the population is increasing very huge basically right now, and this is pressuring the resources that are available. The resources I mean here are our raw commodities that we're going to use in our product. Number two, if we want to be competitive in terms of competitiveness, we want to compete with other countries, then we need to show that we are very resourceful. That means we are going to use all the sumber asli or the resources that are available without any waste. That shows cleverness, that shows intelligence, that shows finance, like they said in the French people said. So we have to do that. If not, they say we are a waste government, a waste business. It doesn't look good in terms of for the future. Okay, and then it also makes sense if you look at it. Just imagine, I'm just using a layman argument here. Later I will show you the proper argument. As a layman argument, if you don't waste your resources, your raw product, don't you think that you are basically going to profit a lot more? Because you use all the raw material, and since you use all the raw material, you need only a little bit more of the raw material when to produce the next product. And so just imagine that. This is very profitable. Okay, so it makes sense business-wise. And now we are talking about sustainable development. Sustainable development is we are talking about the future generation. We are talking about to make sure that our future generation will be able to use the resources that is already available now, that we are using now for our development, so that they also can use it in the future. Because if not, if we use all of them and found that they don't have anything to do in the future, not enough resources to do whatever that they want to develop and so forth, then they were going to say, what is these old people using everything and don't remember us? Isn't that bad? So it doesn't look good. Okay, and then we have the shared property vision of 2030, which take over from Wawasan 2020. So I'll talk a little bit on that one because quite new. Anyway, it's not been approved yet by the Dewan. So we'll just talk a little bit about it. Okay, and then finally, there are government incentives. I'm going to put up a few of them. So let's look at them. As a businessman, you should tell if it is not enough, then you better ask the government. The government is supposed to be your servant. They're supposed to help you to ensure that you get your profit. So that is what the government is supposed to do. But if you don't give a feedback, then they will say it's enough. But let's see when we see afterward the incentive by the government. Okay, so now fundamentally, what is circular government? Circular economy.
Doc,
Sorry.
sorry, Doc. Yeah, sorry, Doc. Before we proceed,
Yes.
just to announce to the session. So if you have any question, you can raise your hand or you can send a chat to me and I will highlight it to Dr. Kamarul for him to be able to answer your questions. Yeah. At the same time, we also have noted some concern in terms of their listening ability. Sometimes they can't hear what we are saying. So I guess the administrator is actually looking at the matter. Sorry, Doc. Teruskan.
Okay, thank you. Don't worry. I'm a lecturer. It's quite normal for me to be stopped by students, especially in the middle when they come into the class. Not because they have questions, they just came into the class. It's okay. So, what is the fundamental of circular economy? Because sometimes it's good for us to know where does this circular economy come about? Okay, so let's look. We look at our present economy. Actually, the present economy, we can summarize it in 3 words: take, make, and dispose. So basically, we take the resources, we make something out of it, add value to it, and then we dispose. That is the present economy. But as you can see, previously, yes, this is correct. There's a lot of resources out there, and we can get it from Malaysia very cheaply. But now even Malaysia is selling it expensively, the raw material. But that's what's happening. But then, as more people are buying and getting all these resources, we found that it's getting more expensive every day. The cost of raw material now, according to some industry, is already almost 30% of 40 or 50 even in some businesses. So that is a very critical condition for doing business. Okay, so now business have been hit by increased commodity price, and because it's just a matter of supply and demand. When there is a lot of demand, and the supply is still maintained, you'll find that the cost will go up naturally. So we need to do something about this. One option is don't demand anymore, don't get more supply. That's what I'm asking you all to do. This is how we're going to do one of them. Okay, so the global population is growing fast. The middle class itself is set to top 5 billion. When I said the middle class is mostly Malaysian, or other countries also the same way. By the way, as you know, the biggest consumer in the world is the middle class. Okay, the biggest consumer in the world is the middle class, and it is growing very fast. So since they are growing, they are the consumer, and you can just imagine they want more product, always more product, more specialized product, and always the latest one. I think if you follow the iPhone, you can just imagine. I'm still using iPhone 7, but out there is already iPhone 11. I was told the 12 is coming out soon. So I say I cannot follow them already. Not the thing that I cannot follow, is because the money for each one keep on increasing. You have to pay for it. You can just imagine. Okay, so this is the thing. Yeah, the increase in the number of people who have enough money to buy things. So this is putting enormous pressure on our environment. Our resources are becoming more difficult to extract. You just imagine now, it's very hard. Our rubber is not enough. Our palm oil is not enough. Our oil is getting low, even though suddenly the price become low. That one is very interesting. I need to give a talk on that one. Why suddenly, even though the amount of oil is very low, and yet the price become low? This is, you have to put the blame on economists. Because economists, they can make it such a way that even though you have only 2 pieces, they can make it as if they have a lot. And if you have a lot, they can make it you have only 2 pieces. So that is economists. That's why we need economists for our economy. And I myself, a physicist, later realized that as a physicist, I have all the laws in the world, but then nobody wants to come and see me. So I better become an economist, use the law of physics to run the economy. So that's how I come here now. Now I'm an economist using the physics principle. So it's quite good actually. So our myopic focus on producing and consuming as cheaply as possible has created what we call as the linear economy, in which objects are briefly used and then discarded on as a waste. So that's how we are right now. That is the fundamental of circular economy. Is there any question? This is very important to understand. Okay. Okay, if not, I'll continue. So the fundamental of circular economy again. So when we look at around, nature provide a better alternative of economy. Oh, but nature also have economy. Yes, it has. This is where you learn from physics. But they say it is more on biology rather than physics. But from our observation, we observe for nature that, have you ever looked at the forest? Is there any waste in the forest? No, there is nothing there. Everything is recycled. When a tree throw away their leaf, that leaf will become fertilizer for the tree, and the tree will take the fertilizer and grow back another tree and another leaf. So you can see it is very, very nicely done. So when we look at that, we said, wow, why don't we copy that? This is how the circular economy come about, from observation, from an empirical observation. It is not coming from nowhere. You have to look at around you, and you will see that it's happening. So waste does not exist in nature, because ecosystem, you reuse everything that grows in a never-ending cycle of efficiency and purpose. So this concept is what we call as the circular economy, an economic system in which no materials are wasted. This is what we hope. So products are designed and built so that they are part of a value network where reuse, refurbish on the products, component and material level. It doesn't matter whether it's component or material level. All are continuously re-exploitation for resources. Very interesting, isn't it? Just look at nature. And sometimes, surprise, nature can teach you quite a lot, actually. And that's why I learned. I'm already more than 60 years old. Now only I realize that. I wish I know it when I was 20 years old, that I can do better in this life. But then it's never too late for anything. Okay, I'll share with you, all of you then. Okay, so that is fundamental. So if you look as an X-ray of the global economy, it's really horrible. People are using the resources as if it is unlimited and using it for all purposes and without even into consideration whether you're going to waste or whatever after you use or before or after. So this is what's happening right now. We are using about billions of tons. We are talking about not 1 million or that. Billions. Billion ni ada banyak zero. There are at least kalau 1 million is 7 zeros. A billion is about 10 zeros. So you can just imagine a lot of material. So what we want to do is a closing cycle. We use renewable resources, renewable energy, and the next presentation I was told that there's going to be on renewable energy. Finite, then always remember that we're going to use a finite resources. So when we think always of that, then we use the material efficiently and we ensure that the product is useful for everybody and we use the product as a service. And not only that, we reuse, we repair, we refurbish, we recycle the product until the last, they say the last block out of that product. I know this is very hard for businessmen. One of the main things we want to get profit is so that people buy our product as soon as possible. And not only as soon as possible, as much as possible. So I need to qualify that slowly because very dangerous at this time to say that. Okay, so try to reconsider about our planet, actually our world, when we decide to do business in that sense. So now, just to show some diagrams so that at least we can understand. So a linear economy, raw material, product, use, and non-recyclable waste. Reuse economy, which the people many confused with circular. It does circle a little bit, but then the circular economy will go into more detail. We go to each level, not only the product, but also the resources, the design, the technology. I'll talk about it later. Don't worry. Okay. So okay, again, pictures tell thousands of words. So as you can see, linear, just one road only. Take, make, use, dispose, pollute. But circular, we can make it and then use it again, reuse, remake, recycle. So it's just a long list, keep on going. So that means if the product, let's say, lasts for 10 years, now it will last for 20 years. Can it be done? Yes, it can be done. A life cycle study has been done for many products, actually many. If I put it up, it will take a long time on that. All of them indicate that you can go beyond at least 10 times the time that was the initial factor that we as a businessman put out. Okay. So we have to have a different thinking, a circular business model. This is the one that I like to concentrate. I know some of you might say that it's just similar. No, it is not similar because we are talking about slowing. That means use phase extension. We are talking about intensifying a more intense use phase rather than a short phase. We are demetallization, substitution of product by service and software solution. We are closing, that means recycling all the measures. Don't worry, I will explain each one of them. And then narrowing, we are talking about narrowing, efficiency improvement. So these are the things that we need to do as a businessman if we want to really take up circular economy or circular business. And I hope those who feel that you are already an expert accept this as an idea. If not, then you are still talking about recycling. Recycling is not enough. It's not enough. Okay, so careful on your understanding. So let me go into the motivation. Okay, to explore basically how can we use circular economy to drive arbitrage opportunity. That means we can create more business and we can work with the global supply chain. with the COVID-19, we found later that the problem of continuous, I have a supply from China, I have a supply in US, I have a supply in India, it's no good anymore. It's better to have a silo supplier. Somewhere in India, there are the same material, same raw material, other raw material also in that same place. That is what we are going right now, if you look at it in terms of business, not hoping that all the different places we use. So this is a business motivation. Even though Malaysia, let's say, don't have gold, but there's a lot of gold coming from the EE industry that we throw them away into the river. So if we can collect all those gold, and now suddenly we are a producer of gold for electronic devices. So it can be done. It can be done. So one example of scale borders are emerging. There are also leakages happening. So these leakages that we have to put a stopgap to it. This we're talking about suppliers, wholesale retailers, and consumers. So to make practical step to capturing this opportunity through facilitation of pure materials flow, we need to do a new economic model for all our products. So if we don't do that, then we will just stay the way that we are right now, thinking that everything is well, and it is not. The world is not well. It's getting old, and it is getting to the point that it might revolt back again. Just to give you an example, on one of my studies of climate change, I have to give this example because people, when they talk about climate change, they talk about the Arctic, the Antarctic. You don't need to go far that way. Have you ever been to Kelantan? I think everybody has been to Kelantan. Especially the food is good there. Even though I'm not a Kelantanese,
right.
but I love the food there. So
from breakfast to dinner, no?
Yes, that's right. So sorry about that. So do you know that the flood in Kelantan, the orange, the yellow, the whatever flood that occur in Kelantan, based on our study on climate change, it is due to an increase in temperature of South China Sea. You know how much the water temperature increase in the South China Sea? 2 degrees only. So I monitor the South China Sea. And when it is about 200 degrees, I call the Menteri Besar of Kelantan. I told him, Dato', you're going to have a banjir besar. The last one. And he said, mana Prof, mana boleh Prof tahu, Prof bukan Tuhan, dia kata, pasal different past. So I said, yes lah, I'm not God, but I'm looking at the sign of God. I said, so according to the sign of God, if you increase 2 degrees above, then they're going to be flooding. And yes, it happened. It flooded. Kelantan flooded. And next year, the Menteri Besar called me on my handphone. I said, wow, the Menteri Besar is on my handphone. So I answer, yes, Dato'. Is there going to be banjir again this year? So I said, based on my study of the South China Sea, it is not going to be. So okay, Alhamdulillah, dia kata. So and then one day I received another call from him. Prof, is there any way that we can solve this problem? Oh my God, I said, this one I cannot. I leave it to you since you are a religious person. Yeah, we can make dua for Allah not to increase the temperature of South China Sea. I said, yes, we can do that, but as a scientist, I don't think we should do that. Okay, we should stop using all those petroleum and all those things. I say, and stop from burning the forest. I say, and then we will be able to do that. So never mind. He said, Prof, I will stick to the dua to Allah. I said, yes. I said, I've been to that. So that's what happened. So and then just to tell the story, on the 10th year, he called me back again. Sorry, Dato', I'm already retired. I don't have access anymore to all those data. So tak boleh buat apa lah. Kadang itu these are the limitation of us as a government servant. So just to tell you now, it is truly a climate change problem, the banjir in Kelantan. So until you solve that problem, it won't be able to be solved in Kelantan. I'm sorry about that for the Kelantanese. but still go there. Okay. Okay, so let's go next. So if you look at it, in terms of competitiveness, Malaysia, if you put it in the middle, I took this from my friend Mackenzie Global Institute. So if they put Malaysia in the middle, Singapore, in terms of competitiveness, have a high quality and high cost. So that's why people don't like to go to Singapore. Why that people like to go to Thailand? Because it is high quality and lower cost. But now Thailand has fallen down to here. So now that it's changed with Vietnam. Vietnam now, because this is 2014. And when I look at the latest one, 2019, Vietnam now is here. But Malaysia is still here, unfortunately. So I think I need to talk with either Minister of Economy or to really look back at our competitiveness. If not, then we were stuck here and nothing happened. Everybody is taking over us. Right now, which I'm a bit worried is Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia is moving up very fast towards this region. And we are still there. Okay. So tak apalah, yang itu is another topic. But if we go for CE, I think we will go there very fast. Okay, because we can lower the cost. This is the thing, we can lower the cost. Okay, so next.
Just a question, Doc. If you go back to the slides, yeah. Do you think Vietnam is actually implementing CE? That is the reason why they are more competitive now. They are trying to implement CE much faster than us.
In terms of CE, Vietnam, one thing, this is the uniqueness of the people of Vietnam. They didn't put CE as the what they call is the target for business, but the Vietnamese are by nature as a person, they tend to do CE because after I explain why that the Vietnamese are doing that. Because they have gone through a lot of wars. When you go through a lot of wars, whatever product that you use, you always try to keep it almost forever. But Malaysian, because we are so lucky, everything comes so easy, we tend to be quote unquote wasteful. So that's the reason, not because of anything else. Just like the Japanese, why is it that the Japanese can overcome after the war very fast? And basically the same thing. It is by nature they are quote unquote rajin. That means they work hard. If you ask their wife, if their husband come back, let's say at 6 o'clock, the wife will say, "Why are you here? Go back." In Malaysia, right. If you come back at 6 o'clock, they say, "How come you come back so late?"
So late. That's right.
That is the nature, the culture.
So you see the culture as one of the main barriers in implementing CE?
That's right. That's right. Later I'll talk about that.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so where is our position? As you can see, there is the arrow, the blue arrow. I put there, a blue arrow is our position. If you are at the center, like Sweden and all those countries, they are already on CE quite a long while ago already. So we are about 3 circles ahead, 3 circles in the middle. So there are other countries which are worse than us, like Indonesia and all those things. But never mind. We need to do something. This is based on United Nations study for the whole of the world, the 215 countries of the world. By the way, there are 215 countries in the world, not more than that. So if somebody said more than that, I don't know where they got the countries from. So this is also another thing that we need to be aware of. Okay, so we need to do something about it. So now,
okay, Doc. Before we proceed, let me share with you a few questions that our participants have been asking. Yeah.
Okay.
The first one: can CE solve water problem, especially teh tarik in nature in Kelantan? Can CE solve water problem?
In essence, I'm going to talk that one later when I talk about climate change and CE. So we're going to go there later because one thing, if you don't waste, the issue is wastage. When you waste, then you will get all those problems. Like for example, just to give you a simple example again about the Kelantan flood. The Kelantan flood is due to the climate change of temperature, because we release quite a lot of carbon dioxide to the sky. When we release a lot of carbon dioxide to the sky, the way that the airflow in our region, this is the way of airflow in our region, the oxygen, the carbon dioxide cannot go somewhere else. So it stay in our sky. So when it stay in our sky, it will block the sunshine. They will block the sunshine. And since they block the sunshine, the heat that is already on the ground cannot go up. It block. So when they block, then where can it heat? The air, not that much, but the water is easy to heat. So it heat up the water. So when the water is heat up, according to our calculation based on 2 degrees only, seawater, seawater, if it's heated 2 degrees, it will cause a lot of water coming from the sky. That is flood. That is flash flood. So we have to be careful of that one. So CE is one of the solution.
Okay, the next question, Doc, from Zaki Jafar. Yeah, how is circular economy very much different with other existing economic model in developing one's nation?
Okay, this is
if you want to have the answer later, it's fine. But this is actually a question which
it is better later, because if not, the story is not complete.
Okay. And the other one, what is the ultimate goal of circular economy? Is it to achieve sustainable development?
No. The main purpose, like I said in the first slide, we are supposed to use the resources from the earth for our product in business, and we have to use it until the last drop. Until the last drop. That means we shouldn't use it only for the product itself, and then we waste quite a lot, especially in the electronic industry, especially in the petroleum industry, especially in the palm oil industry. We always throw them out, all the waste. Actually, the waste from the electronic industry is so massive in Malaysia. I just know how to overcome it right now. It's so big. So somebody need to think about it.
Okay.
Okay. So let's make some sense of it.
Okay.
Okay. These are the 7 key elements of circular economy. We will go one by one, because as you can see here, it is not only on waste management. The waste management, as you can see, is only this one. Only this. So only limited to this. But in essence, there are 6 other areas that you need to work on if you want to work on circular economy. So I'm going to go through one by one. So please be patient on me on this one, because if not, you cannot grasp the idea of circular economy in terms of implementation. Okay, so let's look at design for the future. So what we are trying to do here is, if we know the raw material that we use, we only use, let's say 50%, then we need to redesign again our product. Something wrong. So you need to account for the system perspective during the design process to use almost complete. If you can use 90%, 90%, 100%. If you ask me, I said must be at least 95%. If not, then cari barang lain. Find a different material or design a different way. So have it been done? Yes, Fairphone has done it before. So if you go to the internet and check Fairphone, they give you a very detailed. I don't want to go into detail because it's already too long in this talk. And then also in terms of cooperation, Deso also have done this for carpet. That means what they did was, when they sold the carpet they bought it back again. Mana yang dah sekarang ni carpet yang dah for us at home, kita throw it away, wasted. So we should take it back. Like company like Deso, they will take it back and they refurbish it balik and jual balik. So then this is why. So these are the things that we can do. Design for the future. And we can incorporate digital technology. We track and optimize resources. Yang we can do between supply chain, actor through digital, online platform, technology, so that there is no theories, no bocor in all the chain, along the chain. So there is a software flow tool that can do that. You can buy it in the market and can easily be used. And DHL has done it too, using what we call as the drone, using the drone system. And they found that they optimize their process, doesn't wastage. So these are also incorporating digital technology. You can do it. You can preserve and extend what already used, already made. Like for example, if a torchlight, sometimes the torchlight only look bad because it look old because of your hand holding it many times. So why not cover it with very beautiful packaging so that the torchlight become longer, example. So this thing also, if you look at electronic, they give very good example of automotive electronic component where they take it up back again and use it for automotive electronics component. So it can be done. Royal Philips also have done that, and many others. Okay, so prioritize regenerative resources, ensure reuse renewable, non-toxic resources. So all this, it can be done. Skynet has done it. Viton has done it for drinking. And just now somebody asked about drinking. So please look up in the internet the company VITENS from Netherlands. Very interesting, actually. Again, I love to tell the story of all these people, but then our time is a bit short. Okay, so and then use waste as resources rather than as waste as a waste, but we use it as a resources, as a resource of a secondary product. Always remember, waste, it doesn't mean that we have to throw, but the waste is used for secondary product. We create, use our mind to determine this. Ionica have done it also. Renewy has done it already. So all these companies that I put up, you can go to the internet and find them very detailed and describe how they have done it. Rethink the business model. For example, bundle for appliances. If you sell the appliances, they will buy it back again. So you can see it is you consider opportunity for those old product. All this can be done again. And collaborate, create joint value. You work with other people because sometimes you don't have the secondary product. You don't have the know-how. Then you work with people who have the know-how. Then once you work with it, then you're not going to waste your product which are not being used. Your product, your raw material that you are not using, or the raw material that you use but then has already overcome in terms of time. So this is a simple model of the circular economy. Everything we should, kalau in Malay we say, kita kena perah dia sampai dah habis dah. Sampai dah tak ada keluar air dah. Itu kalau orang Melayu cakap.
Ketitisan yang terakhir, ketitisan yang terakhir.
Sampai ketitisan yang akhir. That's how a circular economy should work in business. So just to give you a better some idea, extraction, SMI boleh buat dia dalam manufacturing lah, processing, usage, recycle, ataupun kalau dalam SDG, somebody ask about SDG. SDG ni pun banyak boleh contribute pada business, dalam core business, dalam social investment, dalam advocacy, employee dialogue. And not only that, kita dapati dalam SDG itu ada 17, 8, SDG 8, SDG 13, SDG 9, SDG 4 and 3 are all related to businesses. So all business people can contribute there. So SDG, if you look at in terms of the business, communication, there's a list of them. Chemical, engineering, financial service, healthcare, ada list there. So I've given them the list so that kalau if you are in any of these business, please consider SDG as one of them, and you can use it for promotion so that people all over the world can see that yes, you are involved with SDG. and also SE. What is the connection between SDG dengan circular economy ni? SE, Sustainable Development Goal, is the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all by 2030. There are 17 goals, there are 169 targets, and about 200 something indicators. So all the 251 countries have already signed it. Maknanya they have agreed to have this Sustainable Development Goal. When we look at it, we found that it's very hard for the business people to use SDG. So suddenly we realized that we might need to create another one. We call it the circular economy. It's an alternative economic framework for achieving this SDG, local, national, and global sustainability. Okay, so all governments, cities, and multinational are already working on this. So kat Malaysia, maybe the multinational masih not, some of them are not, but we have to encourage them to work on this. Intel in US already start to work on it, but Intel Penang very slow on this one. I don't know why. Sama juga all the other Thompson and all those things. I know all these people because most of the managers are my students. So as you can just imagine lah. So again, issue-nya profit lah. That's the big. So circular economy and SDG, the concept of circular economy, like I said just now, an economy in which waste and pollution do not exist. This is the correct one. Do not exist waste by design, product, or material. This is the what we say. So SDG and circular is hand in hand. It works together. So it is what we call a combination of social and economic prosperity within the natural capacity of our planet. So kalau kita nak tengok yang very directly link SE dengan SDG ni adalah SDG 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 12 and 15. Moderately linked is 4, 9, 10, 13, 16 and 17. Indirectly linked 1, 2, 11 and 14. And yang ada link langsung that we cannot see any link between them is 3 and 5 dalam with circular economy dengan SDG. So basically circular economy is SDG, as you can see, very except for the two. One is the gender equality and the other one is health. But then if you are from the health industry, then it can link also. So again, it's up to you. Okay, so but then yeah, in Malaysia, there are a lot of forests, there's a lot of everything, there's a lot of water, there's a lot of, so it's a paradox for land of plenty to say that we should not waste. This is where Malaysia is Malaysia. You can throw a seed anywhere on the land of Malaysia and it will grow like a tree into a tree. There's no other place in the world. This is the world paradise. You cannot find that. If you go to Saudi Arabia, you throw buah korma, they won't grow because you need to have water in it. But here in Malaysia, you just throw it and it will grow. So sometimes when I was preparing this, I said, it's a paradox actually. I'm telling people don't waste. Well, we have a lot. So tak apalah. Just to complete it. So in terms of Malaysian composition of export, integrated circuit, palm oil and petroleum products are the three top in Malaysia in 2016, and our export group yang paling besar is Singapore, China and United States. These are the countries that already adopt CE, especially China and United States and Singapore. So if we are going to still continue our export base, then we better become a CE businessman. If not, later when they ask, then you are going to be stuck with trying to explain that. So it seems that it is about the same. I've looked at the latest report by the statistical department. Still, EE is still the top, followed by oil-based industry and also palm oil. So again, when I look at the latest Malaysian external trade statistic 2019, also the same, EE products, refined petrol products, and palm oil, the top three. So whatever it is, we have to concentrate on this. We have to focus on these three industries. If not, then we're going to have later a lot of problem, especially if we want to export them. So in terms of shared prosperity vision, it is still not yet complete, I believe, because it has there the business industry ecosystem. But if you read this, there's the one of the strategic trust, it doesn't even mention about CE. I say, wow. I wish they called me in, and then I will have them to put up CE as the one of the main key parameter in there. Okay, so right now, if you can, if you want to say, if I'm talking overseas with regard to Malaysia, I will give an example of the palm-based industry. They have a very good CE program, and some of the product they are working on are very beautiful. And I think they are our front line with regard to circular economy. And the other one is the plastic industry, which has a roadmap for the future, but then it is not the whole of the petroleum-based industry. Plastic is just one of the big petroleum industry product. So, are we moving to a circular economy? Malaysian business ready? I'm not so sure about that. Ni MacGyver ni, kalau siapa yang minat cerita MacGyver. So, tanya kat MacGyver.
Tapi mungkin dia orang tak kenal MacGyver. The new generation, they might not recognize MacGyver. Only our generation recognize MacGyver, dog.
MacGyver yang sekarang ni muda.
Yeah,
Ini MacGyver lama. As you can see lah. So, because ramai yang tak kenal MacGyver, I'm going to put it in another way. So, circular economy in the top 3 export business in Malaysia. Palm oil, as you can see lah, they are now going up the hill. But tiap kali they gave the solution, the hill decide to give another problem. So that's what happening right now. Kesian the palm oil industry. I really pity them, and I wish I can help them to ensure that we can push up until beyond the hill. The worst is the refined petroleum product. When they push up, like for example, they have the roadmap, suddenly there is another hill coming up. So itu lagi worse than the palm oil industry. Palm industry, they just cannot reach to the peak. But the petroleum, the plastic, they reach the peak. But unfortunately, new rule have been set up because the focus is to change from refined petroleum product to organic-based product. So because of that, if you still maintain the refined petroleum product, you find that the hill will keep on coming back again. Even though, again, sorry to say that. Again, I'm talking without any bias or like that. I'm thinking about what it is out there. So just be aware. And then finally, the EE, they are interesting. It seems that the EE themselves are stopping them from moving forward. I don't know about that. EE is my area, and I found that if I've said it, it should be correct because this is my true area. So I found that they themselves are stopping into going into CE rather than other people. So as you can see, keep on pushing, we keep on pushing, everybody keep on pushing, but it doesn't move because the people who are in the business themselves are not moving forward. Because at the end of the day, if they don't move, we cannot do anything. Just like one here, you can see the position of the Malaysian business. I put it there. So we are still 2 steps before we go to circular economy. We have to go into sustainable consumption and production, and we have to go to circular economy. Then only we have done eco green industry, industrial symbiosis, all that have we done. But unfortunately, CE, we still need to do something about it. This is just my personal opinion. Okay, this is not the MDC punya opinion. This is my. Okay, so jangan marah pula itu. So are we that bad? No. In terms of Malaysia, in terms of readiness, technological readiness, we are number 4 We are at level 4, which is very high, behind Korea, Japan, German, Singapore. So that means we are ready. Tapi itulah, unfortunately, we are not doing it. So the government has put up CE policy development, the solid waste and public cleaning management, the 5-year plan, the 11 Malaysia plan, the national SCP, sustainable consumption production, the global clean tech innovation. So all these are there already. So maybe it's not enough. Frankly, I think it's not enough. We need to do more, like Singapore and Korea. Okay. So this is one of the ministers said. This is minister dulu lah. While governments can provide incentive and support for replacement, the 4R, reduce, reuse, recycle, and replace, it is up to the private sector to introduce innovation solution, or otherwise facing the consequence of being left behind. Because we must remember, our market is the world. Malaysia is just a small market, and you won't be able to compete even. So we have to go for the world. That is our truly market. Okay. So especially EE product, refined petrol product, and palm oil, you need to relook into what you are doing right now. So the circular vision for electronic is already there out there, the theory and everything, the detail. I put up one of them, and just to give you an example. So the opportunity is there. It's just a matter of you want to do it or you don't want to do it. So thank you for MPC for inviting me, and Tuan Haji Hasbullah for guiding me through this presentation. Thank you. Any question?
Thank you very much, Dr. Kamarul, for the enlightening presentation. We don't have many questions during the session. That can mean a few things. Number one is it's so easy for us to understand about CE because of your explanation. Number two, probably we might not be in the position to ask questions at the moment because it is an introductory sort of presentation on CE. There are so many things that we need to understand about CE. Or number three, probably people are quite reluctant to ask questions because maybe there's something, it's a new topic, and ultimately they probably will have a lot of reservation in terms of how CE applies to the business. Yeah, but the way I look at it, my comment before I entertain questions, if it's still coming, is that CE is more in terms of how we want to be competitive. Because the developed world, the developed nation, they are already into CE, and we do not have a choice. And if we keep on limiting ourselves as what we are currently at, definitely we are not going to be as competitive as Singapore, China, United States, and the other developed nation. That's the way I look at it. And you have been talking a lot about the initiatives that have been taken in terms of trying to promote CE. And you did mention, there's one slide there that you did mention about we have not included CE in our strategic trust, which is actually, to me, is a big concern, because if we want to go towards CE, then for us not to include that in our strategic trust, definitely that is not something that is going to be helpful for the businesses, because there will not be enough push for the business to really get involved and to conduct their business in accordance with CE. Of course, if you look into the 7 strategic trusts, you talk about a business and industry ecosystem. I hope it is going to also include CE in there. Key economic growth, CE in there. Human capital, the other factor. We are talking about culture just now. We are talking about human capital. We know that we can have great ideas and all that, but if you are talking about the paradox, we are a land of plenty, you know, and there are so many things that that we can actually get from Malaysia, and therefore we have sort of taken things for granted. And this boils down back to the human capital part, where people are not looking at changing the way they see businesses in the future. We are so into how we have done business in the past, and we have been successful in the past. So therefore, why are we going to talk about CE? We have a lot of resources still, you know. So the human capital aspect is also, I think, key. And then you're talking about labor market and compensation of employees. Okay, fine. Social well-being. Probably people have not realized. I think from the presentation that you have actually given just now, we can see the impact of CE on social well-being, how it can also impact the non-business. Whatever businesses have actually decided can also impact the non-business part of the country. And that is also, I think, is for the longer term sustainability. Regional inclusion, social capital, okay, fine. But this, again, I think, of course, we want the business to embrace CE. But I guess in so many things, it has to be a cooperation of the government, the business, the community, and there has to be a motivation to really look at CE seriously, and trying to not only talk about the three main businesses that you have mentioned just now, but to look into the other businesses that can implement CE, and probably for us to move ahead as compared to other countries, to make sure that we are competitive in not only the three areas that you have talked about, but in other areas. So I am still waiting for some other questions. I've yet to receive any other questions with regards to the presentation. But I mean, for me, it is actually a very enlightening presentation. I was just talking to Dr. Kamarul a few days ago about CE. I mean, of course, people mention about CE, but when Dr. Kamarul talked to me about CE, then I realized now how that can be a competitive edge in business. And we have yet to really look at it seriously in terms of putting CE as our mission and coming up with our strategies to make sure that whatever things we do is in accordance with CE, and of course supporting the sustainability, the SDG, the sustainability. What is SDG? To help me recall that, Doctor?
Sustainable Development Goal.
A sustainable development goal. We want to develop, we want to continuously develop, but we want to close the loop. We want to make sure that we are, tidak ada, macam doktor kata lah, tidak ada kebocoran, tidak ada ketirisan. Of course, probably if you are talking about 100% tiada kebocoran, mungkin itu satu yang agak mustahil. Probably it's quite impossible to do, but to reduce it as much as we can. Thank you, Doctor, for the enlightening presentation. Now, I have just been informed by the administrator that there is going to be another poll at the end of the session. The poll has got this question for you to answer. How is your knowledge and understanding on circular economy after this session? And you are going to have to select one of the following: excellent, moderate, and low. So if you answer low, definitely I will expect additional questions to come in. If most of you answer excellent, that means there is no question. But if you answer moderate, I guess probably you have also a few questions to ask. Now from the poll, oh, okay, I'll wait for a few moments because there's only 36% who has voted. We are going to wait a moment until everybody have voted, and we can actually share the results. But again, I'm opening this for questions. We have to take the opportunity here because we have an expert here on CE, and we might want to ask questions. Maybe you come from the business, maybe you come from the academia, or you come from organizations that are interested to elevate your organizations to another level. you might want to ask questions related to CE, please do so. And I for one, is quite unfamiliar with the environment that we are in right now, because normally when we have conference seminars, it's actually a physical sort of presence. Now we now we are in cyberspace, so it's a little bit awkward, but nevertheless, this is actually the new normal, so we just have got to accept it. We're talking about the culture, Doc. Just waiting for the questions to be answered. We are waiting. We are talking about the culture.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess it's always when you talk about change, when you talk about embracing change, and it's always the culture thing has to be talked about. Now, where do you see our culture is in terms of embracing this circular economy, Doc?
I think we previously, when we are, I think in the 60s, we have the right culture for CE. But after the progress, after the progress that we are going through, and we are doing it at too fast a rate. I find that the progress that we are going through is too fast. When it is too fast, you forgot about your good culture. So one of the good culture, like for example, when you kunduri, you work with each other, those are already gone. Right now, we just call somebody to cook for us and we come for the kunduri. Last time you do that, everybody in the kampung will say, what? We want to cook together.
Everything is about quick solution, right? Quick solution, quick earnings, fast cash.
Yes. Right now it's all quick because of all the quickness. The same, it's easy to throw things out. Whatever is not useful, we throw it out. We don't need even to rethink about using it for other purpose. That's why I gave the example of Vietnam. Vietnam, they just got through the war. So when they gone through the war, they see that even a pencil, which has only lasts 1 inch of carbon there, they use bamboo to join it. When I look at it, I remember when I was small, I did that too. But now, if I see that my pencil is cannot hold, I throw it away. So
that's true.
My children works actually, even if it is not sticking this, the pencil to his hand, he threw it away already. So these are the change in culture. But then, as you know, culture is just like an onion. Culture is like an onion. It keep on adding to it. So to change, you need to remove one by one. And the bad one that we need to remove. The good one we shouldn't, especially like working very fast and doing things without procrastinating. Those are the bad one that we have last time too. Hisap daun, rokok daun dulu, baru kita buat kerja. This is no good. But now we do it fast. But fast, they throw it away everything.
So moving forward.
Yeah.
I mean, understanding the current situation in terms of CE in our country, moving forward, if you want to promote a CE amongst the businesses, if you, you have got many ideas, what will be the 3 main things that you think should be considered?
For me, actually, the number one is if I can show them that, yes, there are profit in it, and they will go. For me as a businessman, because 3 years I'm now a businessman, also I found that the only impetus, yes, for me, if profit is there, I will go in. It doesn't matter where, in Malaysia or overseas, I will go. But then if I find that the profit is not there, the next thing is whether I like to do it or not. I like to do it or not. So like for example, CE, I love it because I'm an advocate of CE. So I love to do it. So I'll do it. So, but then to make a person like something is very hard. That is where the culture come in. If you don't have that culture built up from as a child, it's very hard to do that. And number three is basically if my buyer decide, sorry, I'm not going to buy from you if you don't show me that you are doing CE, then I will. So the three, the most important is still profit.
Okay.
That's
So coming to my next question then. So if, let's say, you're talking about the first factor and the third factor, the first is profit. The third factor is actually the customers, the buyers, the consumers. So if they decide, if they decide to buy things which are CE products, how can, are we already into efforts where we are going to have standards for CE to be recognized and to be vetted? I mean, you're talking about ISO, you're talking about all these international standards. Is CE moving towards that direction now?
Yes, it is. We are now developing an ISO for CE. But it's going to take some time. As I can see it will take another 2 years. Because as I've told you earlier, CE was an afterthought after we were preparing the SDG. We found that not many business people can understood it and start to use it. And then we realized that we need to create another platform for them to work, because at the end of the day, because we believe in open market. We believe in open market. If the businessmen are not interested, very hard to get anything going.
So our take from this is that we know it's coming. So if we start it late, then we are going to be left behind.
Yep.
So we are going to have to start early. Okay. And before we end, there are a few things which we need to clean up. I mean, as a moderator, I've got to do this, Doc. There's one question that we said we are going to address before we end the webinar. What is the ultimate goal of circular economy? Is it to achieve sustainable development? No, I think we have answered that in one of your slides. Yeah, we are not talking about sustainable development. We are talking about development, but using CE as our backbone to that development, isn't it?
Yes, because this thing, I believe, this is my belief, and also many of my colleagues in the United Nations, we believe that open market is the in market in the future. Even though some people say that, no, it shouldn't be that way. But then if you don't have an open market, it's very hard. When Trump decided to say America first, we have a headache on that one. And when the same Europe also trying to do the same thing, we said, wow, it's going to be a war. And when China decided to do that, you must realize one thing. This country that I mentioned are the market of the world. So countries like us, we have only 30 million, 36, 32 million people. Compared to, let's say, China, how many billion their market, and compared to America, also about the same value. So for us, we don't encourage this for them. If they do that, we are going to have tough time. But I prefer for them to say, please have CE. Then it's okay. It's an open field.
Okay, I've got questions, a few questions here, Doc.
Yes.
What is the role of general public from Pauzu Taha? What is the role of general public to make CE a success?
We should ask. Actually, it is not the general public. It is the what they call it. Apa nama? I forgot the term that you use. Okay, tak apa general public. Civil society.
Okay,
civil society is the right term. The civil society should push CE in the sense that we don't want to waste. The idea of don't want to waste is a good start, even though, as I said, it is not the best, but it is a good start. That if you know that the company wasted, then we shouldn't buy the product, because as a buyer we are the king of
very powerful, isn't it?
Yes, very powerful. And I found that quite a lot, actually. That's I've learned already. But then, unfortunately, again, if the consumers are not united, then you will be at the mercy of the manufacturing or the business people. So for us, I prefer if the business people themselves are the one who initiate CE, because they know better their area. And the one that I put up is just based on theory. So it might not work at all, even though I give some examples, because the example that I can find in the internet. But then the business people, they know actually. If you tell them the basic principle, we don't want to have any waste of your raw product. They know what to do. They know what to do.
Okay, this one is from, sorry.
One more.
Yeah.
If I'm the government, kadang it's good to say that if you are the government, pasal you are not the government. If I'm the government, I put an incentive. Whoever can show to me that they are working on CE, and I put a clause there, that means their raw product, they will use at 80%. I think 80%, no need 90% or 100%. 80%, I'll give them incentive to then we'll find that everybody will jump into it.
Agree.
It's not that hard, actually. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I guess. There's this one comment from Aida Rahman, Doc. My answer is moderate on the topic today, as I'm not really familiar with the circular economy, but the webinar today is really an eye-opener. My question is, can we relate CE in the pharmaceutical industry?
Oh, yes. Pharmaceutical industry, I'm sorry to say, is the main culprit in not taking up CE. You know why? Because they always say their product is only suitable for their patient only, not for other people. But if you make what we call as a life cycle study of the pharmaceutical product, you find that there are some ingredients are common. So that's why we call it the generic product. The generic product. It doesn't have a brand, but it sells very cheap. The most famous example is the apa penyakit apa? Tambahlah dah cakap. Background. You can get a cheap version, and if you go, because when I was in USM, I pick up Viagra, bukan untuk apa, I'm just curious. Pick up Viagra, and I pick up ada one generic Viagra. So I look at the content, the same. Ada sikit different je.
There'll be a lot of participants who will try to get your phone number after this, Doc.
No, that is for research, it's not for but then it is true.
So the answer is pharmaceutical industry definitely has
definitely.
To be. Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. Okay, the next one. Do you think international trade is even more important in embracing CE? Sorry, I'm not so clear in terms of the question, but
I think it is more of we cannot question the international people, because like for me, even though I am sitting in many of those international, I'm just going to tell you what happened. For example, the SDG, we have 3 years meeting. I attended representing Malaysia. I'm the only one. And from America, you know how many attended that same meeting? 200. So when it comes to voting, I vote one. And
One
then
vote
for
only.
200. So you think you can win? There's no
Yeah.
So that is where our power of persuasion we need to do during the meeting. Before that, we have to go through all the coffee, go through the dinner, sit down with all the blog. So it's not that easy to jadi wakil Malaysia. So I managed to get one or two, three ideas. But then that is the limit that we have.
Okay. Okay. Understand.
So at the international level, we leave it to them. But at our level, says it is coming, like Tuan Haji has mentioned. It is coming. So why are we procrastinating? We should jump before they put it out. So that we are ready. And nanti terkejut, we are ready.
Okay, that's the last question, Doc.
Yes.
So I'll just share with everybody here in terms of the polls on the question of how is your knowledge and understanding on CE after this session. Yeah, I just share with you the results of the poll. 56% understanding on SE on CE excellent, 56%. 41% moderate, and 3% low. Okay, so that is actually the result from our polls. Yeah. Okay, expected, because it's a very new subject, especially for people like me. And here we are talking about, are you ready to go for circular economy? That is the question. Are we ready? Malaysia ready or not? Businesses in Malaysia, are we ready or not? 68% said yes.
Wow,
that's good.
that is
That's
very good.
Very good indication. For me, it's a very good indication from the business. And 32% said need more time. 68% is really good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Okay, so that is actually the result of the polls. Do you have anything to say more to say, Doc, before we end this session?
Not really, actually. I like to see CE become part of our business venture, and I believe that for the sake of the future, we should try to make it as part of our business identity, and don't assume that it is a foreign things, but take it as part of the future, because in the future, CE is going to be part and parcel of business. Without CE, there's not going to be any business in the future. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kamarul Azizi, for your presentation and for sharing with us in terms of the subject, the circular economy subject. Thank you very much to all the participants who have participated. Of course, we will not be able to gauge in terms of your active participation because of the current situation we are in. But I guess we have gone through all the things that we need to go through with this presentation. And I am grateful that we're able to have this session, although we are in cyberspace. And my last word for this is stay active, stay safe. Is that okay? Stay active and yet stay safe. And we are all for, to me, circular economy is actually a very interesting subject, very interesting to pursue, and very interesting to explore. So again, thank you very much, Dr. Kamarul, and thank you very much all for your participation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. and Tuan Haji.
Dah habis dah?